Yo, what's good? I'm back and I'm on that girl Arli. Y'all see me on my practice videos. Well, the video I posted of her just playing with her. Arli is super OP. I've gotten very good on her. I'm finna give y'all a breakdown to the build I'm running on her and how I'm probably gonna currently run all my builds. We'll go quick over the skills just so you can see what they are, know what they are before we get into the build. So basically your basic attacks. Build up marks. When all the marks are stacked up, it does like a little, it does damage to them. Um, Using skills grants a following a basic attack. So basically, you can get three attacks off with two strikes. Then skill one is the parasol, where you throw the umbrella out and you can spawn back to it. It doesn't do any damage. It's just to help you get out of the way, get out of dodge when you damage. Get out the way basically when you're fighting opponent. So like snipe, like what's his name? I can't remember his name. Snipe Gang. Like that's my guy too. Shao Yu, I think. I believe I haven't picked him in a long time, but like when he does his snipe, it's just to jump out the way of that, jump out the way of arrow, Hawkeye's, like his bow. When you're fighting and a ranged character comes, you can throw it, jump back to it, little stuff like that. Skill two is to block any projectile, so you can literally block his Hawkeye arrow that he does that stuns you. You can block that completely and just nullify it. So that's kind of OP. It does damage twice. It goes around about 1.5 times, like a little more than 1.5 times, but not quite a full two circles. I use it mostly for to block, and I use it for execute because it's a great execute. And then the third skill is push your umbrella at him. It knocks him back. You can jump to it. It does a little damage to him. I don't believe it does any dot damage. You can also use it to get out of fight. So if some people are coming, you can throw it behind you, turn around, throw it behind you to jump to it, create some space, then throw your other umbrella with skill one and create more space. So that's just a little way to work it in. Again, when I'm fighting, you'll see me use it in all different types of ways. I'll post, of course, I don't just post build videos without posting me actually playing, so you can see how I actually get live with this build and why I have it set the way I have it set up. So the build is called Arli. As Arli, the first thing we'll look at is how people run their builds. So when you look at other people's builds, recommended builds, the only skill I see that everybody really has is going to be Doomsday. Doomsday is the common skill on her because she's a basic attack queen, and that's going to give you 8% basic damage on all of your basic attacks. So, and gives you lifesteal. So it's best bang for your buck to have on her. But everybody seems to run the same build, and it's a crit heavy build, which is not bad. It's a great choice to use on Arli. Personally, I just don't like running people's builds, so I went complete opposite of everybody. Then we'll get down and break down the build and look at it real quick. So for the first gear piece, Boots of Fortitude for physical damage. Really, this is one you can swap out for any boots you want. You can use Boots of Deftness to get more speed. You can use the Boots of Dexterity for more basic attack speed, which is a great one. You can use the Boots Tranquility to get to see the cooldown on your ultimate. You can use the Boots of Resistance for magic resistance. The only ones you're not going to use is basically the Boots Arcana for magic pierce. So, or any mana. I mean, I guess you could technically use it for some mana maybe, but it's not worth it. Then I guess Doomsday is the first one you're going to run. I never switch Doomsday out ever. I always run Doomsday no matter what happens. Doomsday is a skill I'm always going to run. The very next gear piece, the very next gear piece I'm always going to run, or equipment, whatever you want to call it, is Spark Forge Dagger. I always run this one because three light attacks creates lightning, and we just ran our passive after you do your light attacks. It gives you one extra basic attack. So again, 2 attacks creates lightning because it's going to give you 3 attacks, which is super OP. And then she attacks so fast that you'll literally, in 4 strikes, you'll have lightning proc on somebody twice, and it touches everybody in the area, which is super OP because she already hits hard. So those 2 gear pieces never, ever change. And then this is like the rotatable ones, and when I get to the other gear pieces, I'll tell you what I rotate them out with. A lot of times I don't really rotate Sky Piercer out just because Sky Piercer is a pushback, And I use the pushback mostly for like when you get like junglers that any jungler, because most junglers hit hard unless they're like a tank jungler. If it's a tank jungler, then I personally probably won't run Sky Piercer because there'll be a tank also probably in the clash lane. So usually I'll run more Pierce, or yeah, I usually try to put more. I'll put some different gear piece on for more Pierce, which we'll get to when I get to that gear piece. And then the very next one is Pure Sky. Pure Sky, I started on the bar, but very rarely do I have to use it in a match on her because most of the time I'm able to get behind team, get around team, and stuff like that. So I don't take a lot of damage. I really have it for the damage. That's the only main reason I have it. This the slow is nice, and but I just want the damage reduction for the passive and for the active when you pop the ability. That's only when I'm taking extreme damage. Like there's a lot of heavy hitters on the field, so there's heavy hitter junglers, heavy hitter in the clash lane, heavy hitters in the mid lane, heavy hitters everywhere. Then it's like, okay, I'm gonna put this on just to get some damage reduction when I'm getting into the fights. And my favorite gear piece in the whole game, Overlord's Plate Mail, just to get the extra health when you're out running. Um, Again, it's very easy on Arli to create 3 seconds, so you can double your health recovery, and then with the life steal, it literally have your health half to full health, no problem. And then this is the backup gear pieces, so while you're in the match, you can see what you need while you're fighting. Like basically, when I'm in a match, I decide while I'm fighting, depending on how the match is going. That's why I have them set up like the way I have it set up. So when it gets to that point, it's like, do I need this skill? Do I need this skill? I decide what I want to run at that time. So for the most part, we have Sun Chaser. The reason why I have Sun Chaser on here is Sun Chaser is more so for when like if like what's her name, Gario or Gyro or whatever her name is, the chick who stays back in a little bit of range. If she's in a match, I use it for her because her skill creates extra range, so she can strike from extra range. So I need to make sure I'm able to hit her. So I use like if she's in the match, if Angela's in the match, I'll use it for her sometimes. Blue Bane 7 because Marco Polo, basically anybody who has a good attack that creates a little bit of range from you and makes you have to stand back, I'll use it just so I can. You're not gonna just poke me and poke your ass back. And then I like the little speed burst it gives, so I can also use it for a chase down. So if you're trying to get away and I got like some fast movers, then I'll put this on the bar so that way I can come here, chase your ass down. And then Frigid Charge. Frigid Charge is it's a very tricky one to use on her because of course she's a range character, but she also is very nimble and gets like in your face, so I can be right on top of you. And if I get right on top of you or you get right on top of me, I try to use it more defensively. So when you got like again junglers or some tanks, maybe even Consort you, which you tried to pop her ult, you hit skill 2, then you pop this. So you nullify her ult, and then you freeze her in place real fast. That's what I do to her. But I very rarely see her that often anymore. I don't know why. But yeah, that's how I use Frigid Charge. I use it more defensively. You can use it offensively, but I use it more as a defensive just to people are getting on me, hit a stun on them real fast. It's not a long stun, it's 0.5 seconds, but that 0.5 seconds can allow you to throw your umbrella out, create a little space, start hitting them up, get your life steal back with the Overlord's Plate Mail stacking on top, then boom, you right back in the fight, you fuck around and kill them. Boom, that's how it works out. That's not how it works out, that's how you want it to work out. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. On to the next one, and then the next piece I'm running is Tempest. Tempest is for, again, like I said, if I get a tank, if you get 2 tanks in, then usually what I'll do is I'll run Tempest and I'll stack Tempest with I'll stack it either with Sky Piercer because Sky Piercer also does physical defense reduces the physical defense by 10% for 2 seconds. So I'll also run that. But most of the time I'll just replace it and put this on because what this is gonna do is basic attacks grant 45 to 90 physical pierce every 3 seconds, and it stacks up to 2 times. So again, that's super fast. I'm going to be basically having it stacked up the whole time you're fighting somebody, and it grants you 35% attack speed on your light attacks and your next 3 basic attacks. So basically, my lightning's going to proc even faster than it's already proc. That's for like tankier characters. And then this is one of my favorite pieces. This piece usually is the piece that gets ran over Pure Sky. So this is Mortal Punisher. It's a anti-heal, and I use it usually when there's a really good roamer, like a healing roamer. Because of course people use like tank roamers and stuff like that. So I just watch the roamer. If it's the really good healer, that's a roamer. Or if I forget her name in the mid lane. A lot of people use a lot of the pros use her for jungling, but she has the heals and the damage bars. If she's in the match, I can't remember her name. She plays in the mid lane. Um, but yeah, basically, if there's a really good healer on, then I put this on just to shut you down. Or if I know there's a high life stealer on, like I see somebody has a really high life steal, then I'll put this on just to try to nullify some of your life steals. So you're not, when we fight, I'm gonna beat your ass. You're not just going to think you're gonna full up on me. Only I do that. And then I keep switching them. My bad. And then cloak is more so if I run in the mid lane because I off lane with Arli, so I use Arli in the mid lane and I use her in the farm lane. I off lane with a few characters, and I'll be making build videos and videos of me playing with them in the off lane. Like I use Lady Sun as a roamer. I use Blue Bane 7 in the mid lane and as a roamer, stuff like that. I use Butterfly in the Clash lane, little things like that. That's what I'm talking about, but that's another video another time. But yeah, that's when I use cloak. If I have Arlie and I'm playing in the mid lane with her, then I'll put cloak on so that way I can just nullify some of the magic damage because you're going to be fighting magic people in the mid lane and most mages hit hard. And then for the final piece, which I very rarely use, and you can switch this out probably for anything you want, which is Blood Rage. Blood Rage is basically going to increase your basic attack damages by 4% of your health. And then when you're below 50% health, it reaches 100%. Again, when I'm fighting, you're going to get below 50% health, but I'm never going to pop the active ability, so the passive is really great. I mean, I would pop the active if it's like a really good team fight and I'm in the back. Sure, maybe I'll pop, but most of the time when I'm with Arlie, you'll see in the videos like I'm here, I'm there, I'm here, I'm there, and I'm getting hit. So I don't. I never used it in a fight. I'll have to try it out. I'm talking about like it's bad, but I have it on the bar for a reason. So I'll try it out and see. But I've never used it really. But I have it just in case emergencies, pretty much just to give you a little bit more damage. And that's it for the gear pieces. And then we'll go to the Arcana tree. And the Arcana tree we're running 7 Hunt, 7 Eagle Eye, 2 Fate, 3 Prosperity, 2 Reverberation, 4 Conflict, 1 Fortify, and 4 Red Moon. Just so you know what those are. Hunt is attack speed and movement speed. I really got it because I want the attack speed. You want to be able to attack faster. The movement speed is also a plus to have, but it's more so for the attack speed. And then prosperity is magic defense and lifesteal. So if I'm playing in the mid lane, I will have magic defense. Even if I'm not playing in the mid lane, there's always going to be a mage in the match 9 times out of 10 unless I'm playing. If I'm playing in the mid lane, then there's not going to be a mage. So, and then Reverberation is physical defense, magical defense, cooldown. Just running 2 of those just for a little more defense. And since I got some defense, I'll take a little bit of cooldown with it. And the same thing with Fortify, just to get the defense, just to have some defense on the build because you're going to get hit. So you might as well have some defense instead of going all offensive. So it's just for a little defense. It's not going to change the life, but it does give you a lot of magic defense. So if I play the mid lane, I'll have some extra magic with me, basically. And then the next one, Fate, is physical defense, max health, attack speed. I took this one for the attack speed and for the physical defense, just to have a little more physical defense when I'm fighting the farm lane. And when most people you're going to fight running around are going to do physical defense. So you just want to have some sort of physical defense. I look at it. That's how I play. And then conflict is physical attack, lifesteal, just to give me a little extra physical attack because I took off 3 of the pierce and physical attack in the middle. For the Eagle Eye, I took 3 of those off and replaced them with the Reverberation and the Fortify. So I just took this to get a little attack speed. Again, I use the Red Moon only for the attack speed. It gives 1.6 attack speed, so I really want that. I don't care about the crit part on it because I'm not doing a crit build. And then back down to more conflict, just to give me more physical attack and lifesteal to make up for what I missed out in that tree. And then the final piece is going to be the common skill. Common skill is different depending on where I'm playing. If I'm playing in the mid lane, I use sprint just because I rotate a lot in the mid lane. Like I rotate from the clash lane to the mid lane down to the farm lane. I'm doing a lot of helping out and rotating. But if I'm playing in the farm lane, then I'm using frenzy, because if you bring your ass to me in the farm lane, I'm gonna smack you, because in the farm lane I'm a lane pusher. So if you come to me when I'm in the farm lane, I'm gonna basically farm your ass and keep on pushing. So I use frenzy there. And that's pretty much how the build goes. Again, I'll upload a build video so y'all can check it out. Or not a build video, a video of me playing is a little bit of gameplay. It's hard for me to do live videos because I have a 3-year-old and she is very loud and playful when she's up playing. And then I have to do the videos late at night like this. So when I do them late at night, usually I just go ahead and do a match I already did earlier in the day when I was playing, but it was loud in the background. So that's why usually it's hard to do live matches, but I'll start trying to do some live ones so y'all can see. But deuces, catch y'all on the next one.